It's time to talk anime. So if you either live under a rock or haven't been paying attention to anime lately, then you wouldn't know that the latest anime to completely explode throughout the scene is the shonen superhero action series My Hero Academia that originated from the Japanese weekly magazine Shonen Jump, just like a lot of other popular anime like Bleach and Naruto. And I've talked about this a little bit on Twitter before, and of course, in my top whatever best anime I saw last year, you would know that I am a monster fan of the anime. I think it is superb, and it's so damn good. And originally, I wanted to talk about the main character, Midoriya, and I was going to do a video titled "Why Midoriya is one of anime's best protagonists in years." And while I still hold by that standard, I think that I want to talk about My Hero Academia in general and just why it's so damn good. Because in many ways, it's kind of similar to what other shows like Naruto and Bleach did before it, when they exploded as a shonen anime became super popular, but in my opinion, different. Even better than Dragon Ball Z, which I'm still a fan of, as you can tell by the shirt. But a lot of these shows do things differently that My Hero Academia doesn't. And I'm going to talk about several points on why My Hero Academia is so effing good. First of all is the world of My Hero Academia, which in many ways can be related back to the idea of capitalism. Because in this world, superhero is definitely a profession. It's not like a hobby like a lot of Western superheroes is, where they have their own other job, and then during other hours they're a superhero and they save people, or even during their own hours, wasting their own paychecks, they save people. Here it is clearly a job, and the good succeed and the others don't. If someone succeeds, the top heroes, they get paid more than other heroes. And it creates basically classes and ranks, which goes back to capitalism. That's not to knock on capitalism, that's just the way it is. Some people are more rich than others, and that creates classes. So there's an inequality, and here that's completely felt as well. And even though the anime can be tied back to capitalism, it doesn't say that the world is perfect or completely flawed either. There are still good heroes, and it showcases these good heroes. But it also shows there are plenty of false heroes who are only there for the money and the fame, which is where hero killer Stain comes in. He wants to purge these false heroes because he believes they distort and corrupt the idea of what being a hero really means. And the difference between the heroes that we follow and the villains is not the goal, because the goal is still to, make the system better, but it's the way they go across it. The villains do it in a much more violent manner, where they don't care about the law and they'll hurt people. The heroes work within the system and try to better it. And this includes our main character, Midoriya, who leads to my second point, Midoriya. He's just a really fantastic lead. He's not like many shonen characters before him, because even though I love characters like Goku and Luffy and Natsu, they have plenty of similarities. They love to eat, they're not very smart, they're really good at fighting, and they fight for their friends a lot. Midoriya isn't entirely that. He doesn't really eat all that much throughout the show. He's not like a huge eater. He doesn't ultimately love fighting. He does it because he has a goal. He wants to be a hero. He does fight for his friends, but he doesn't always proclaim it like everyone else. And unlike all these other characters, he still has a competitive edge, because back to the world, it has a very competitive edge, because again, it's like capitalism. He has noble goals to be a hero. And he's also very intelligent too, unlike those other characters. He analyzes his mistakes, he tries to better himself, and he examines other heroes and their techniques so he can incorporate that into his own style. As I mentioned before, this world has a very competitive edge where everyone's trying to be the top hero. And even though Midoriya still has that competitive edge, as he wants to be the top hero, he's willing to sacrifice his own success in order to help others, such as his fight with Todoroki, where he basically makes himself lose so that way Todoroki can better learn to use his own quirk, which leads to Todoroki being a more effective hero. And plus, he's just a really great fucking character. He's super enjoyable, and one great thing is he doesn't get strong too quickly. A lot of the problems with other shonen characters is they get new forms. They get strong a bit too quickly. At least in my opinion, aside from maybe Goku, who gets strong very slowly. It's kind of like that, except over a better paced narrative, I believe. He doesn't get a new form, he just better learns how to use his own ability instead, and he doesn't become too strong too quickly. We learn to go with him through his journey to better himself, as he's already off at a disadvantage. He also makes really great relationships with other characters. He helps them and talks with them like actual friends. It's great. Which leads to the third point, the rest of the cast. One of the cruxes of large shonen anime is that they have a very gigantic cast, and oftentimes they don't entirely focus on that gigantic cast. It's generally a very smaller set of characters that get the narrative, they get the focus. And although that is still true here for the most part, a lot of these other characters still get their moments to shine. And because it is a smaller show, they still feel like, they're part of it. And they get their moments without it being filler. I mean, aside from Sue, but, even that filler episode was better than some other filler episodes in other anime. So, the character All Might, it's just, he's just a fantastic character. He's really fun, he's enjoyable, he's a great teacher, and he exceeds kind of expectations for what you'd expect the #1 hero in a capitalist society to be. He's a lot nicer and a lot more just like, pushing people to succeed than you would probably expect him to be. Characters like Ida and Todoroki evolve throughout. They become better and they learn how to better use their own quirks, kind of like Midoriya, but in a different way. And they go through their own experiences to evolve their personal character, and a lot of this can be through the fight scenes. Ochako, who was unfortunately sidelined in Season 1, while still being enjoyable there, gets a lot more focus here. The focus that she definitely needed to show that she's still relevant, she's still really fun, and she's still pretty dang awesome. Really the only character that I don't like out of all of the cast would be Mineta. But the thing is, he's usually shown in the wrong. He's not, like a good character. And other side characters like Kaminari, Momo, Ashido, and Kirishima are still a lot of fun. And even though they don't get a lot of focus, whenever they appear, they're still relevant. All these characters still appear relevant because, they're part of a class. And the fourth point, the action, animation, and writing is so damn good. The fighting isn't just an excuse for action or big punching. There is emotion woven into it that gives them meaning and can keep the audience engaged and coming back to it because these fights hold weight, instead of just being flashy shows of power and strength. It's better than that, because a lot of these characters evolve during their fights. Like I said, Todoroki and Ida, they have great character arcs during two of arguably some of the best battles in Season 2. The way these characters communicate and just talk with each other feels genuine. They're classmates, they're friends, they're kids. They all have lives, and you can bet they're all pretty much just as interesting as Midoriya is. They have their own goals, and it feels that way. They feel alive. My next point is that the show fixes itself. While as enjoyable as Season 1 was, it had some issues, such as pushing characters to the sidelines and having a bit of a narrative identity crisis, as many people did compare it to Sky High. But in Season 2, they fixed that by giving a lot of characters a lot more focus with the tournament arc, and even some other moments, such as maybe small little itty-bitty moments during episodes, or even for Sue, a filler episode. It was not a bad filler episode, at least. Not to mention, in Season 2, the narrative becomes a lot more clear, as we're watching these characters evolve and become heroes, become better. And we see villains organizing. A major threat is arriving, and things are about to go down. And that just builds the excitement. That just makes it a whole lot more enjoyable. And my final point is, it doesn't feel like a conventional superhero story. It feels like a great mix of Western and Eastern storytelling, as it's still a Japanese-made anime, so it's going to be told similar to how other Japanese-made animes are, with a setting in Japan. But it has heavy influences with American media, considering the fact that it's superheroes. And they feel a lot like Western superheroes, while in a Japanese setting. While it still has that fun and kind of, at times, campiness that some older superhero movies and even some more newer Marvel movies have, it still knows that it takes itself seriously in a way that makes it engaging, kind of like how Civil War did. So that way the audience understands. And it also knows the limitations of its genre, both the good parts and the bad parts. It is both soaking in the superhero genre, and it understands the problems with the genre, and it's self-aware. And that's one thing that's really great about it. It's not just another superhero story. It's another really great superhero story that, while taking elements from other superheroes, still feels like its own thing. and it feels like its own good thing. It feels like a new original content that we can sink our teeth into. And while America is going through an oversaturation of superhero movies, this anime has exploded in the West because it feels different. Even though it takes heavy influences from Western superheroes, it still feels new. And that's one reason why it's just clicked so much with both audiences from America and from Japan. Both countries love the shit out of this show. And I love it too. It is my 5th favorite anime of all time. And if Season 3 continues the train that Season 2 did and gets even better, it might even make it into number 3. That's how damn good it is. And that's the expectations that I'm setting. I know I shouldn't set such high expectations, but since the show has already blown away expectations that I already had, I think at this point I'm allowed to do that. Again, not smart, but if we're to follow trends and to follow what other people have been telling me, it's gonna get real good. And that's just all those points together. That's why the anime is so damn good. That's why it's just so great, because again, a lot of shows like Dragon Ball Z and Naruto did similar things. They exploded, they brought people into anime, and they made people excited. But My Hero Academia is doing it in a way that's a lot more fresh, a lot different, and a lot more fun. I know, again, that's just opinion, but that's what I see it as. That's why the show is so good and why it connects with so many people. So yeah, that was my video on My Hero Academia. Not entirely a review, just more of a talk on why this show is so great. I might do a review on it at some point once I get my hands on the Season 2 DVD as it comes out, probably in December. Or, I don't know when it's going to come out, but it's going to come out sometime, and I'm getting my hands on it real quick. You can bet your ass on that, because the show is so damn good. But if you guys enjoyed this video, please go ahead and make sure to rate, comment, and subscribe. Check out my other videos. Also make sure to check out my supporters, all that great stuff. And I will see you guys next time. Peace out.